Hi, my name is Queen Anne Cannon. I'd like to welcome you to Peninsula View. And we're come today with a very serious matter. We want to talk about how this COVID-19 is affecting our community, and we have, really great information for you. And my guest today is, we all know, is Pastor
Tony Williams.
Tony Williams. He's known in this area everywhere and very well respected. So, Pastor Tony, I'd really like to thank you so much for being here and helping me do this presentation so that our community will be more aware of what to look for and how to guard themselves from this very serious crisis we're in now.
Well, it's important to be here and it's important to get the information out because we care about our seniors and we care about our entire community.
Yes.
And we need to get as much information out as we possibly can.
Yeah. And this information that we're going to be talking about will be available at one of our town hall meetings that you can get off the television. And the way you get it is www.covid19black.com. And this show will be available there. It'll also be on YouTube and the Facebook channel. And if possible, with this lockdown going on, we'll have it on Create TV. And with Create TV, you can get it all over. So one of the big things reason we want to do this, Pastor Tony, is that the African Americans are disproportionately affected by this, especially seniors like ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and those with pre-existing conditions such as high blood pressure and respiratory functions. So I just want to get your opinion on what's your feelings on this whole pandemic thing in terms of us really taking it seriously and taking care of ourselves.
Well, it's really caught us all by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
No one would have ever expected that we'd have a worldwide pandemic, and yet here it is. And we're dealing with it, especially in the African American community, because we're so susceptible. High blood pressure, diabetes, as you said, respiratory diseases, and those things make us susceptible and open to this disease. And so we have to be very careful and try to stay true to all of the guidelines that we've received from the medical community.
Yeah, and respect that. Not all this misconception about what people say, they heard someone say, but really listen to what the medical profession is saying.
Well, so much is online. Yeah. And to really keep it simple, we need to do social distancing, and that's 6 feet at least, and I understand it could be even a little bit more. Also, you ought to wear a good mask so that we're able to...
Now, what is a good mask? That's one thing, because they have so many masks. I just wear that cloth one that you get from the hospital. Is that a good mask?
Well, they say the way to test a good mask is if you can blow a candle out through your mask, then it's not a good mask.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you light a candle and you can blow it out through your mask, you need to get something better. And so the masks usually have double layers, and double layer masks are considered to be much safer and much better masks. And then also you want to do the hand washing as often as you can, or hand sanitizer as often as you can. So those three things are the majors: social distancing, a good mask, and washing our hands frequently.
And I wear rubber gloves. I mean, some sort of protection on my hands because of the things that they say that once someone touches the virus will stay on there for so many minutes. But I don't see that they advertise that so much as washing your hands.
Well, I think you do have to be careful about the gloves as well. When I go to the clinic or the hospital, they won't allow you to wear gloves.
Oh, really?
You have to take your gloves off when you get to the door because whatever you've touched on your gloves now remains on your glove. And you don't wash your gloves. You can wash your hands, but you don't wash your gloves. So as soon as you go into the hospital, right at the door, they ask you to take your gloves off, and then you sanitize your hands so that you can go through. But you can't sanitize your gloves.
Okay, so that's another misconception of lack of information that's vital, I think, because that's what I do every time I leave the house. I hadn't thought about the part about it touching everything and still getting contaminated. So that's good. That's a good piece to know. Also, people are suggesting that everyone gets tested, whether you feel ill or not. What do you feel about that?
Well, where you can get tested, it is suggested that you get tested so that you know and that you're aware. I just noticed coming here, they're setting up the huge parking lot across from the fairgrounds, just up the street here. I think I saw about 5 tents, and they're preparing to set up COVID testing there.
Oh, that's great.
Right on the corner of 7th and Tully.
Okay, right there. So I know also in the Black community, there's an African American Community Service Agency and the Roots Clinic that they also do testing every Wednesday from 10 to 3.
And I saw here that Antioch also does. Antioch Baptist Church
yes,
also does
Antioch
testing.
Baptist Church, yes. So that's good for anybody who's listening, that they could go there and get tested, and it's advised that we all get tested. And I would suggest even more than once, right?
Well, now they're saying once you're tested, they thought that you would be immune if you don't have the test, but I'm not for sure how often you should get tested. And that's why it's so important that you take a healthcare professional and that you talk with your healthcare worker or a healthcare professional, and they could give you the advice considering whatever your conditions are. If you have diabetes, if you have respiratory problems or high blood pressure or something, maybe you need to be tested more. I'm not for sure, but I would get in touch with my medical professional.
Okay. And we don't know how long. I know that the city is opening up a little bit more than usual. And so it's kind of like frightening to know, should I go out more? Should I not entertain, but should I go out and do more of my regular life with this pandemic still not lifted, but some of the businesses are opening up?
Well, I think as seniors, you're the safest at home.
You're safest at home.
You're safest at home because you know it's at home. But if you've got to go to the grocery store, follow the rules. 6 feet distancing, you're wearing a proper mask, and you're washing your hands before you go. You're washing your hands as soon as you come out of the store, or sanitizing them in the car, and that kind of thing. If you have to go to the cleaners or something like that. So you can, I think you can get along with your daily life, but you have to know you're safest in your home.
You're safest in the home. So what my suggestion too, when I look at all the things that are happening, I really don't care what people are saying, as long as the medical profession is saying stay home. On TV everywhere, the ones that say it's best to stay home and only go out when you need to.
Right.
Yeah, so I can see that, because this, I don't know what's going to happen, and nobody does, and it's a different way of living.
And I think it's dependent also on your health situation. Yeah. If you're really vulnerable, I think you'd have to be very, very careful.
Very careful, yes.
And if you're healthy, maybe you can extend a little bit more.
Yeah. And because I think I have a really good immune system, but that may or may not be true. I mean, I think I do, but I had an attack with my back, and there it was. I was out for 2 months.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important to stay in touch with your healthcare professional.
Yeah, that's great. Now the other part, because this is a faith-based question in terms of talking to people about that in relationship to staying home and staying healthy. What are your feelings about that? Because that's so above what we say. Nobody ever speaks to that in terms of, I say I'm protected by the Lord. How do we talk to that?
Well, that is true. The Bible tells us that the just shall live by faith. But then it tells us again in James, without works, faith is dead.
Okay.
And so he says, show me your faith by your works. And so we don't want to be guilty of presumptuous sins. Well, the Lord will just take care of me, so I'll just go do whatever I want to do when I get ready to do it. And the way I don't need no mask, I don't need this and that. And that's being presumptuous with the Lord. And Psalms 19 talks about presumptuous sins. So faith without works is dead. But also, the Bible says to love one another just the same way that you love yourself. And if I care about you and I care about people in my community, then I'm going to protect them from me. And they're going to protect me from them. And so we wear the mask, we keep our distance, and we do all the things that we've been instructed to do for the safety of myself, but also the safety of other people. we have to always think about others as well.
Yes, we're so connected.
Yes.
And so the best thing you can do is to follow the instructions.
Follow the instructions.
Yeah, and do what the instructions say.
Yeah, and if you're a person of faith and you're a Christian, I love the acronym JOY. You put Jesus first, and then you put others second, and then you put yourself last. JOY.
Oh, okay.
And so I
okay.
always want to hold tight to my faith and believe God, He's able. But I also want to care for others and make sure that I'm being safe for others as well. And then I also want to take care of myself. And that spells the word joy, Joy.
Okay. Now that's a very good way to look at it. And I just want to have it be that you can remind people of that when they say, I'm protected by Jesus.
Yes. And also, if you take medicine, I pray over my medicine before I take it. If the doctor puts me on a prescription, I pray over that prescription, and then I take that prescription. That's not being faithless. That's being wise.
That is being spiritual. That's being taking care of your beliefs plus taking care of other people.
Yes, absolutely.
So I like that idea. It's important. If you're going to go to the doctor, like at this age, and my mother lived till she was 100, I was her health advocate. So when she went to the doctor, I had to take her to the doctor. But I also went in to find out exactly what the doctor was saying, so that when she couldn't repeat it, I'd heard it also.
Yes.
Now she didn't have to worry about telling me what the doctor said.
Yes.
So I noticed that one of the things we should do is go to the doctor with someone or have someone go with us.
Yes.
So that we can converse about the condition and what the doctor suggested and anything of importance.
Yeah, it's kind of called a health advocate.
Health advocate,
and,
yes.
My daughter goes to all my doctor's appointments.
Oh.
She knows all my medicines. She knows all the things. My kids were great. I was in the hospital for about 3 months, in ICU 2 of those months.
Oh my goodness!
But I never spent one night by myself. One of my kids always came and stayed all night, and the one was there all day. And so everyone doesn't have that opportunity, but you can get a health advocate, someone who'll go with you. It could be a friend, it could be a relative, or it could be another professional healthcare worker.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like having that kind of support actually supports your healing, whatever you're going through?
Well, I'm here today. I'm here today because of that. Yeah, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair if that was the case.
Oh, well, I'm so happy. I'm glad about that. Now, I just want to let people know that if they want additional information, they can call the friendship line, and that all this information will be on the screen for you anyway. It's 1-888-670-1360. Another place you can get information is at the South Sourcewise Community Resources Solutions, in this 408-350-3200 option 1.
And also you have the Roots Clinic.
And you have a Roots Clinic, which is good for information, and that's located, let me see here, that's located on 1898 The Alameda. In the area, the San Jose, that particular telephone number is 408-490-4710. And you can call there and get information. Also, just to let you know again that the Roots Clinic is open for testing of this virus every Wednesday from 10 to 3. So be sure and go there. If you haven't been tested, make sure that's one of your objectives in the very near future. If you want, anytime you want more information, you can call. Resource can be found at www.covid19black.org. Another thing with that website, if you have some experience you'd like to share with people, what it's been like to know someone or had someone affected by this, please, we call text something. And we'd love to hear your experience from that and share it with other people. It may be something that can help them be more aware, not to take on more risk, but to be just conscious of this environment that we're living in today. We don't know how long it's going to go, but this is the new life. This is the new norm for us. And while it may be frightening, with prayers like Pastor Tony's around, we don't have to worry about being spiritually fed. So I'm glad about that. That even though you're not having church, your community is still being fed by you in some way.
Yes, and we're glad to be here. And
Yeah.
here at the church, also, if anyone needs food at any time, they can come to
Oh,
our
you have
Mission
that?
Possible down there. And we also have a clothes closet where clothes are free and food is free.
That is wonderful to know that we have those kind of resources in this city, and they're open for everybody. And all you have to do is just either come by or call and find out what the hours are and where you're located.
And I can tell you where we're located.
Yeah.
We're at 1811 South 7th Street in San Jose, California. And the phone number is 280-PRAY, 408-280-7729.
Awesome. So, can you think of anything else that would be wise to let people know since we're on the program now and we'll be able to dispense with all this great information?
Well, we just want you to know how important you are and stress this, the truth that stay safe, and stay healthy.
Okay. So, I'm so glad you joined us, and just remember to call any of those numbers to get additional information and really check the health professionals that you have and to find out exactly what's going on so you don't have to fall prey to the misconception of the information that's flying out there everywhere. And to make sure you get tested and make sure you wear the mask and make sure you wash your hands often, which is what I'm going to add that piece. I haven't been doing that part, but I will now after listening to you, Pastor Tony. I thought it was gloves, but it's the hand washing with sanitizer. So thank you so much for joining us. You'll be able to see this taping on YouTube, on Facebook, and eventually Create TV. So really, thank you very much for being here, Pastor Tony. You answered so many great questions, and I hope that people adhere to them and take them to heart and put them into effect.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and to giving me the opportunity to share. Blessings on you and your family.
Thank you. I need all the blessings I can get.
Yes,
so this is Queen Anne Cannon, Peninsula View. Thank you so much for watching.